All right, everybody. Welcome to YERBABUENA. YERBABUENA, for people that are watching this, I don't have a really good habit of uploading this stuff, but welcome to YERBABUENA. This is a great show where we discuss cannabis use and the rules and what's going on with the laws and all that stuff. So what do I want to talk to you guys about? I want to talk to you guys about the new law that just passed. The House of Representatives have unanimously, yes, voted that now weed will be federally legal. Now, that doesn't mean it's legal now. It's just that the House of Representatives has passed it, and now it's going to go to Congress. Congress then passes now federally. This is no longer a drug. It would be like having an alcohol in your house or you purchasing alcohol. What does this mean? How is it that this new law changing is going to impact the world and everything that's going on around us, guys? Very simple. Mexico now for 2001 has approved the use of cannabis as a medical or as a recreational use. Starting next year, Mexico already has the infrastructure. This is something you have to understand. I spoke to a few people and they told me the people that are going to take over the weed industry in Mexico, it's going to be the cartel. The cartel is going to take over that business. They already implanted with the government. The government already knows. Listen, you already have that triangle of weed in Guadalajara. You have all these labs already producing marijuana. All we're going to do now is legalize you. And this is great. I understand you might going, what? These cartels are now going to have legal weed and stuff like that? Yes, we're making it legal because now the government can legally tax them for this. Good. They can now provide jobs for wives, sisters, people that usually wouldn't work in this industry now can work as different processing phases that the marijuana goes through. Agricultural is one of our biggest strong points. So having that now in Mexico, watch how the next 5 years revolutionizes Latin America completely. Mexico becomes the first world. United States is too busy fighting each other that won't notice that Mexico now becomes the first world. Pretty soon you're going to have Americans sneaking into Mexico, trying to live in Mexico. And Mexico's going to tell you, fuck you. Fuck you for all those years that you didn't let me in. So Mexico's going to put up their borders and they're going to ask you to stop coming into their country. It can happen, guys. Listen, the comments are open. You can tell me if I'm crazy or not. Today I'm writing solo and I'm going to get more into what's going to happen with these new laws and how they're going to work. But I do want to bring up the fact that my co-host, the guy that usually was with me, the reason when I started the show, I started with Joel Cholo. Joel Cholo is a really good friend of mine, was a really good friend of mine. He passed away 2 weeks ago of complications with COVID. He already had existing medical conditions like diabetes. He's a double amputee. He was missing both legs. But COVID really got him. He had overdosed, okay? And I think I talked about it last week. And this is a great story and a great example of why the law is changing, okay? The way Joe Luna, my friend, was dealing with his pain was with opiates. He was on Vicodin or whatever they could give him in the hospital, and he was getting prescriptions when he lost his leg. And this is conversation that me and him had about this. And I told him, why don't you just smoke weed? And he says, I would, bro, but weed is expensive. I don't have a job and I'm missing a leg. I have to go buy the weed. That's money. But the government gives me free pain pills because I have Medi-Cal. And Medi-Cal, they take care of my medical expense because I'm low income. I don't have a job. But they'll shove all these Vicodins for free in my hand for $5 for like whatever the little copay is. Sometimes I get them for free just for pain. So he says, got to the point where if I could have smoked weed, I'd rather have smoked weed for the pain. But all they gave me were Vicodins, and I got hooked on Vicodins. And now my tolerance is so high that weed does nothing for the pain anymore. If I would have started with weed, I would never fucked around with opiates. I would never fucked around with all these painkillers. Because after they chop one leg, they chop the second one. So now I'm completely, every day, I have to be medicated. I have to be on something to be able to function during the day if the pain is too excruciating. But if I had weed from the beginning, I could have lowered that tolerance of pain, or I could have somehow started to manage it with marijuana. But because I was low income, I didn't have money to buy weed. I was dependent on anything that would kill my pain. He says, I would have became an alcoholic if I could buy alcohol, but that means it thins out my blood and I would bleed faster. So a good solution would have been weed, but I got hooked up on opiates. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I had this conversation before he died. We were talking about it because he had just OD'd. He OD'd on the same painkillers that the doctors have been prescribing him because he just couldn't handle the pain anymore. And it gets to the point where your body just really, really starts fighting the effects. You're not getting as high anymore. And it happens with weed, and it can happen with opiates, but you're not going to OD on weed. You will OD on opiates. You will OD on painkillers. And that's what happened with Joe. He OD'd on painkillers on a Thursday. Now, I'm not saying that Joe did everything he could to help the situation. Above taking all these painkillers, he was also drinking rock stars and Red Bulls and all these energy drinks when you're a full-blown diabetic. Like, motherfucker, your blood type is sugar. That's your blood type. Like, don't drink so much fucking sugar. So he ODs on Thursday. Now his immune system is down. He ends up getting COVID on Saturday, or a week after that, after his OD. They brought him back to life, guy. When I tell you he OD'd. Like, he flatlined. The paramedics came like Pulp Fiction with a big old fucking syringe, just bam on the chest. And he comes back to life. I was happy that he was back to life. I said, bro, that's when I had this conversation with him. And now that it's going to be legalized, I'm so excited because I don't want anybody to go through the same thing my friend Joe Luna did. You understand? Opiates are not worth it. You taking these painkillers are not good for your health. If you can manage the pain, it's better just to manage the pain. And I think cannabis helps with that. Where you're not going to OD on cannabis. You're not going to OD on THC. That's just going to help you manage the pain. So enough of that. What ended up happening, he got COVID. It became a big deal here, guys. I know you're in the UK, but here the news picked up a story. The fact that the hospital where he was being held, or where he was not institutionalized, where he was getting care, was completely filthy. And it's because the hospitals now here in California are being filled with COVID patients because people still want to go out and have a good time. So let me explain to you exactly what's going to happen now in the United States when it comes to cannabis. I don't know why the UK is still lagging it. A few things that happen around the world. The UN now has decided that cannabis is not a dangerous drug. They don't classify it as a dangerous drug. Now it's it helps in medical situations. It has medical benefits. So now it's completely legal in the eyes of the UN. The United States House of Representatives overwhelmingly voted that marijuana will be legal in the United States. Now it goes to Congress. Now Congress has to approve this, which they will, because they understand also what's going to happen with Mexico and their bordering towns. Both of their countries on each side now have legal marijuana. You understand? There's money to be made in the United States also, so they need to hurry up and legalize it. So I'm glad it's a festive day. Today is a good day. Today is the day that marijuana took the biggest step in becoming fully legal in the United States. Is the stigma going to go away? I don't think so. I think the stigma is going to be there, but I think once people understand that it's legal now, they have to realize, you know what, that's our society now, and we have to accept it. Just like when prohibition in the 20s, you know, it was illegal to drink. Now it's legal and it'll become a socially acceptable thing. The good thing is these third world countries, they have the great environment to grow this type of product. They know how to do it. They are in the agricultural business. Those people are really going to benefit from this. So that's what I'm excited about. The thing that really is bumming me out right now is that big business, tobacco industry, is going to get their filthy hands on this product, and now they're going to mass produce it, and they're not going to do it justice. Meaning now to keep up with demand, you are going to put pesticides on my weed. And I know that happens now. I get it. But at what degree and where do we stop? of saying, look, stop. You already poisoned tobacco. You added so many chemicals to tobacco to make it more addicting. What tells me that you, the tobacco industry, won't do the same thing with marijuana? Now, you have to keep this in mind, guys. As we are opening the market for marijuana, that doesn't mean that people have not registered seeds. King Louis belongs to King Louis. Now, if I start making money with King Louis seed that he generally made, or he basically created a new brand or a new strand and it becomes popular, he can sue you and tell you you are bootlegging his product now. That is the law here. That now big tobacco is going to say, we are in labs generating all of these types of marijuana plants, and now they're not going to give out any seeds. They're going to be seedless, but you cannot take one of their springs and grow your own weed now. They're genetically going to make their own weed to be more addicting, more harmful, and the medical benefits of it are going to be gone. I mean, we see it now with certain strands of weed. Certain strands of weed have THC only, and they're bred for just to get the high. Some of them have more CBD. Okay, they're more for therapeutic reasons, maybe insomnia, or you want illness or pain or anything like that. So it's interesting to see the evolution of this plant. That, let me tell you something. It's been used to literally control the masses in the United States. I don't know how much you guys know about the history of marijuana in the United States, but I got to really looking into it. I went to a rabbit hole, and things that I've discovered that totally made sense is when the United States wanted to get rid of the Asian population they had in San Francisco, they made opium dens illegal. Opium is now illegal in San Francisco, in our city, so you can't have it here. So they got rid of the Japanese or Chinese Chinese neighborhoods, because that's where their income was coming from. It really put a burn on them. Now that they made it illegal, now I can arrest you and deport you because you're consuming opium. But it was legal. This is how they grabbed a page from that book. They went to El Paso, Texas, and El Paso, Texas was having a hard time with Mexicans that were coming over to El Paso, to Texas, from Juarez. So what they did in Texas, and they started implementing it in different states, is making marijuana illegal. You can only have it with a permit that the country or the United States will issue you. It's a federal permit to grow cannabis. But they never made one of them. They never issued one, ever. You can apply for it, but they never gave one out. The whole purpose of this, making marijuana illegal, they knew that a lot of the braceros, a lot of the Mexicans that came to the United States during the Depression were taking American jobs, or American jobs from Americans. So what they wanted to do is to thin the herd. How do we kick all these Mexicans out of here that are doing our jobs so we can get out of this depression? So what they did is they made marijuana illegal, gives us a reason to break into your house. Now we can go in there and say, all right, you're smoking marijuana, we're going to kick you out. Knowing that the reason we were smoking it comes from years and years back. It's called YERBABUENA, whether it's called marijuana. Meaning marijuana, it was used for therapeutic reasons. It was used for medical reasons. It was used to release stress. Pancho Villa would smoke it with his soldiers before they went into battle. La Cucaracha was made after that she couldn't walk because she needed more marijuana to smoke. So it's a cultural thing for us. But they knew that, hey, these Mexicans, they smoke weed. If we make that illegal, we can kick them out of the United States. And that's how they used it as a tool, to thin the herd, to manipulate masses. They make certain drugs illegal. This is happening back in the early 20s, 1920s, 1930s. When this happens, guys, America now goes on the defense, goes, okay, let's do all this propaganda, how marijuana can affect Black people, that they would attack you. Mexicans are uncontrollable sex maniacs, to scare the masses. Why? Because they can get rid of marijuana. Now, at the same time, the Sears catalog was selling cannabis to the housewives. Do you understand? So that's why they changed the name, because they knew that Latinos, Mexicans smoke marijuana. What happens with this new law, guys? I'm excited because what's going to happen is Mexico becomes a first world country. Okay. The United States becomes one of their biggest consumers of cannabis. The worries me is the big machine that is the big market. The tobacco industry will take over and fuck this up. We won't be able to grow our own weed. They're going to register every weed. So if you grow your own weed, that means you're bootlegging their weed, or you're bootlegging somebody's weed that they genetically made. Okay. But I think it's still better than making it illegal. A lot of people have asked me, so do all the criminals get out of jail? No, you don't get to get out of jail anymore because you did crimes to transport those drugs. You hurt people. You're willing to hurt people to transport that marijuana or turn it into somewhere or drug deal it, and you didn't care who you hurt to deliver that. So that's where the crime comes in. It's not that the drug that you were carrying, is the fact that you did the fucked up acts that you did, you go to jail. I know it's illegal. Let's say, well, I didn't do anything. I was just crossing it. And when they stopped me, I turned in my drugs. Yes, but we don't know that your friend who first gave it to you didn't kill somebody. We don't know that when you turn it into that guy won't get killed because of the drugs. See, you're still responsible because it's illegal. Now that it's legal, it's going to be great. But when it was illegal, you committed those crimes. You put people at risk. You were part of the murder of this person. They didn't kill him because, you showed up. They killed him because you showed up with that weed, and now they're going to kill him to steal it from him. Do you understand? So those crimes were committed. In some way, shape, or form, you were involved with it. That's it. You're responsible too. So if you got caught with weed, you're going to have to serve your time, which I think it's fair. I know people may not agree, but it's fair. You were part of a cartel that killed a lot of people, but you were caught with weed. Darren's. Okay. Hello. So, guys, I wanted to touch base with you. I wanted to say farewell to Joe Luna. Joe Luna's in heaven now. I hope he gets his 2 legs back. With Joe Luna, is my buddy double amputee. We would always discuss, how long have you known Joe? And we would say, oh, when he had 2 legs. Oh, okay, before he did comedy. When did you get to know Joe? When he had 1 leg. Oh, when he started comedy. When did you know Joe? We was missing 2 legs. Oh, okay, that's when he died, right before he died. So, depending on the legs is when you knew Joe. I knew him when he lost 1 leg, when he started comedy. So, guys, it's been a pleasure doing this show. I had a guest worked out for us tonight, but unfortunately, she had to cancel on us. But she is a city controller in LA that is going to come on board and basically explain to us the law. What's going to happen next? Once Congress approves it, can everybody just run around and just start fucking selling weed and doing whatever the fuck they want? No, the president then has to sign off on it. So it's not legal till then. So don't go out coming out here thinking you're going to pick up 14 pounds of weed for fucking pennies, which that's going to be interesting. Once the competition goes up, once it's legal, that means there's going to be a lot of competition, which I think it's great. I think it's great because I can expect good customer service when I go buy my weed now. Remember back in the day when you used to buy weed, you used to go to your weed dealer and he wanted you to smoke with him. He wanted to fucking talk your ear off. You know what I mean? And you're like, what the fuck, dude? His friend was always looking shady. You're like, fuck, why am I even here just for some weed? Then dispensaries opened up. But there were very few of them, so they would get really cocky, and you knew that, fuck, where else am I going to find another dispensary around here? Now the delivery service blew up, and we're like, fuck you, bitch. You better give me good customer service. So now with big market coming in, that is what's going to happen. It's going to lower the price of marijuana. Finally, the UK can smoke weed without tobacco. You fucking stingy bastards, you. Just smoke weed. Why do you put tobacco in it? So it'll be cheap enough for you to get a big, fat fucking joint. All right? I'm pretty sure I'm going to start looking at joints this big. They're going to be joints this big, just people smoking marijuana that big. Jamaica's not going to be one of the hot spots to go smoke weed anymore. When you get to Jamaica, body, you want ganja. No, motherfucker, I got this shit. So, guys, thank you very much for lending your ear. Joe, this show's for you, man. We're going to miss you. I will come back with a city controller. She will explain to us what the law is all about, how is it going to work, and what we can expect from the American government. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.